Hi everyone, I'm Emily Lang and this is the Back to Walk organization of Princeton, New Jersey. So today we're going to welcome you to kind of have a glimpse into Peter and the Wolf by Prokofiev. It's a musical piece that was written where every instrument represents a character in Peter and the Wolf. For instance, the strings could represent Peter, and then the oboe represents the duck, and the flute, which I play, will represent the bird. So everyone is going to play their instruments and talk a little bit about their animals and kind of introduce you guys to this musical realm of Peter and the Wolf. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Sergei Prokofiev composed the piece in 1936, where each character in the play is brought to life by a unique instrument that musically acts out the story. The original title composed by Prokofiev is Pierino e il Lupo, basically Peter and the Wolf in Italian. A little bit about the story. Peter is the main character, who initially ignores his grandfather's warnings and leaves the garden gates open to explore the meadows. His animal friends join him until a big hungry wolf appears. Thankfully, with their quick thinking and by working together, Peter and his friends outsmart and capture the wolf, successfully parading him safely to the zoo in a triumphant musical finale. Now let's hear how all the animals sound together with different instruments.
Hi everyone, my name is Janina and I play the violin, which is part of the string family of instruments. The string family includes instruments like the violin, viola, cello, and bass. In Peter and the Wolf, the violin plays Peter, and its higher pitched sound, higher than instruments like the cello or the bass, give it a more energetic emotion. Consider if Peter is happier or more playful when the violin represents Peter. I'm going to play a short part of Peter's theme. While I play, try to imagine Peter stepping outside into the meadow, ready to see what will happen. So there are two ways strings can make music. One of them is by arco, which means to play by the bow. And Carissa will show you how to play the same excerpt in a different way.
Hi everyone, my name is Carissa and I play the violin. So I am also part of the string family that represents Peter. The bow, which is crafted using horsehair stretched tightly on a wooden frame, is able to create these different sounds based on whether or not you play with the horsehair on the strings. Following Jonina's arco presentation, I'm going to play the same piece but pizzicato. With a higher pitched instrument like the violin, Peter is set in contrast to his grandfather, who, as you may have just heard, sounds much more focused and deep, while Peter is almost a more spirited character, reflecting his curiosity compared to his grandfather.
Alright, hi guys. So right now I'm going to show you guys an example of what a bird could sound like. The bird is portrayed by the flute in Peter and the Wolf because if you think of a bird, it's really light and fluttery, and then the flute can perfectly portray that because it can play these really fast, light, and kind of fluttery notes. So as I'm playing this short excerpt, try and imagine what the bird would be saying to Peter as Peter goes through this adventure with the bird. So did you guys hear how the bird sounded really fast and kind of fluttery in the air? So Prokofiev chose these instruments with their animals very carefully. So he chose the bird to represent the flute because a bird is super agile, and as you heard from the excerpt, I sounded really agile and kind of like quick and fast. That's what agile means. So whenever you hear the flute in Peter and the Wolf, try to imagine a bird kind of flying through the air and darting along, and I'm going to pass it over to the next player to represent a different instrument.
Hi everyone, my name is Alice and I play the cello. In Peter and the Wolf, the lower sounds represent the grandfather. Originally, the part I'm going to play is meant for the bassoon, but since the cello is also an extremely low-sounding instrument, I'll be representing the grandfather here instead. The grandfather is a really grounded character. He's the one that originally warns Peter to keep the wolves out by closing the gates. The cello has a lot of contrast. Using pizzicato and arco, these sounds can depict different emotions for the grandfather as a character, which help make him a more realistic and emotional character to the audience. Now I'm going to play a short excerpt from the grandfather. Some of these lines are mimicking how he walks with a steady tempo. And this part keeps continuing to help mimic his footsteps.
Hi everyone, my name is Oscar and I play the clarinet. In Peter and the Wolf, the clarinet represents the cat. The cat is sneaky, smooth, and careful. The clarinet is a great instrument for the cat because it can sound soft, sly, and playful. There's lots of things about this excerpt that makes it sound especially like a cat. For instance, there are quick small staccato notes that are meant to be played much shorter than regular notes. This is super cat-like. In this excerpt, it does not sound like the bird, which is high and fluttery. It also does not sound like Peter, who is bold and cheerful. The clarinet can move between low and high notes very smoothly. That helps it sound like a cat moving quietly and gracefully. In the story, the cat tries to catch the bird, so the clarinet's music helps us imagine the cat creeping closer and closer. Prokofiev chose these instruments really intentionally, and it can be easy to see why, with the sound of the instrument matching their character's personality perfectly.
Hi everyone, my name is Juha and I play the piano. In Peter and the Wolf, each main character is represented by a different instrument, like the flute for the bird and the clarinet for the cat. The piano is not one of the original animal characters, but in a project like this, it can help support the story. The piano is special because it can play both the melody and the harmony. That means it can play a tune, but it can also play the background notes that help the music feel exciting, calm, sneaky, or scary. This is because the piano covers 88 keys, and because a pianist can play several notes at the same time. Although the piano, unlike the violin and cello, is unable to play vibrato or use a bow to create diverse sounds, it can still have a wide range of emotions. For example, if I play softly, it can sound mysterious. If I play loudly, it can sound dramatic. If I play quickly, it can also sound exciting. I'm going to be representing the duck in Peter and the Wolf because the duck is represented by an oboe. Since we don't have an oboe, my piano will take its place. In a story like Peter and the Wolf, the piano can help connect the characters and make the whole piece feel like one big adventure. Even when it's not representing one animal, it can still help tell the story.
Hi everyone, my name is Ben and I play the cello. Alice previously represented the grandfather by playing the bassoon part, but the cello can also mimic other parts too. For instance, here I'll be playing the French horn part, representing the dangerous wolf. In a big orchestra, there can be up to 3 horns playing different parts that match together their sounds, creating a uniform distribution of tunes that can sometimes clash or go together. Oftentimes, the music between the same or similar instruments can flow in different directions. I hope you can hear that in the Wolf's short theme I just played, the notes start out by moving down, then dramatically go up again, almost without warning. This kind of sudden movement in notes can signify that the character is extremely unpredictable, or be the villain of the story, scaring the other animals and Peter himself.
We hope you guys enjoyed Back to Box production inspired by Peter and the Wolf, and we hope that each one of you guys learned something new about their instruments and some of the animals that were chosen by Prokofiev very carefully to represent each instrument. Bye!